Major update on Josh Giddey's future, and this could be perfect for Chicago Bulls fans and the Chicago Bulls organization. Hi, I'm Shaq Barnes here with another episode of Bulls Digest, the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls. I also noticed that 67% of you guys have been watching the channel and have not subscribed. Treat it like the Bulls intro and run through that subscribe button. Like I already said, you know how we do. I do not waste you guys' time. Let's get right into the news. A new report on Josh Giddey's future with the Chicago Bulls. A new report by Inside's Jake Fischer gave major update on Chicago Bulls guard Josh Giddey. Obviously, after the All-Star break season, the Chicago Bulls found something special in the backcourt of Josh Giddey and Kobe White. While the duo couldn't defeat the Miami Heat in the play-in tournament to make the playoffs, they still had some great moments in the regular season, which we did. We had some great moments. Many are expecting Josh Giddey to receive a big contract this season, and truthfully, he's earned it. While some may question whether Josh Giddey will remain with the Bulls and receive that contract, NBA Inside Josh Fischer reports a concrete future. And this is where the good news come into play right here, guys. But obviously, let's be real, that the Chicago Bulls, we found something special. We didn't overachieve. I think we hit the right line when we traded everybody during the All-Star break. I think we found something special. We just need to build off of it. But Fisher reported the working assumption in most front offices at this stage is that both Fred VanVleet and restricted free agent Josh Giddey, like Irving and Harden, will stay with their incumbent teams, Fisher reported. And also, in the 19 games after the All-Star break, Josh Giddey averaged 21 points, 10 rebounds, 9.3 assists, pretty much almost a triple-double on 50, 46, 81 shooting from the field. And the Bulls were 17-10 during that time span, which was great during that time because we finally got to see Kobe White. We finally got to see Josh Giddey to be able to play their style of play and play their role. And actually, they both style of play actually complement each other a lot. But back to the main point of this is the working assumption is yes, Josh Giddey will most likely come back to Chicago. Now we got to talk about the numbers game when we get into the business of basketball. What would the number be for Josh Giddey to stay with the Chicago Bulls? But also the other problem that comes into play is, I would say for Josh Giddey and maybe more for the Bulls that would be good at, is that it's not a lot of teams with money to offer Josh Giddey. So it could make it easier for the Chicago Bulls to retain him. But also, Josh Giddey, I think we all can assume that Josh Giddey had a breakout time with the Chicago Bulls. I think it would be smart for him to stay in Chicago. But with the Bulls, we missed out on the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. But I still agree that we found our gems in Montes Buzelis, Josh Giddey, and Kobe White, who looks like an all-star. So even though we did miss out on Cooper Flag, I do think that the missing out on Cooper Flag might help the Bulls circle in on what we need to do with the core that we have. Now, the Bulls could get lucky with Giddey. And this what you know how I usually do. We do business of basketball here. We got to talk about the business of basketball. The Bulls could get lucky. According to NBA cap expert Yazo Goslin, I hope I said it right, via his third April Substack newsletter, the Bulls could get lucky with Giddey and sign him to a team-friendly deal. The harsh conditions of a restricted free agent and lack of offers that may come with it could get the Bulls to offer him something in the low $20 million range annually. Goslin wrote an annual salary in the $25 million range could be his ceiling and ultimately fair compromise. Now, obviously, we know Josh Giddey wants around the Jalen Suggs contract number. Obviously, he wants higher than that. But like I just said, I brought up a second ago that it's not too many teams with money to offer Josh Giddey the money that he wants to just up and offer him the contract. It's only really like the Brooklyn Nets. And there's a lot of other young players who are available that the Brooklyn Nets might necessarily go after, or could Josh Giddey be a part of their build or what they want to build? We don't 100% know, because I think Josh Giddey has earned a favorable deal, but at the end of the day, Chicago won't be moving bad if they go with the business of basketball about it. Like, yeah, go out there, test the market, and we can see what contract you get, and we can just match it. That's it. If he signs an offer sheet, the Bulls can just match it. It's just gonna be as simple as that. But the Bulls would be smart to risk it with Giddey. Joe Crowley of the Chicago Sun-Times appears to be on board the Bulls taking a slight risk with Giddey's free agency. The Bulls can let Giddey go to the market where there's limited suitors, see what the market bids on him, and then have the right to match it, Crowley wrote. Basically, what they should have done with Patrick Williams and didn't. I was just going to bring that point up too. As he's a restricted free agent, Chicago can't match any offer sheet that Giddey signs by letting him test free agency. There's an opportunity for the Bulls to get their guy below his current asking price. Nevertheless, there also the risk that Chicago is priced out of keeping their star talent. The Brooklyn Nets headed to the summer with a significant amount of cap space. If they choose to pursue Giddey, it could put the Bulls in a tough spot. Like I said, there's only one team in the way. And I think what really messed Josh Giddey up with this was the Patrick Williams signing. When Patrick Williams signed and the Bulls did not let him go test the market, they just up and gave him that contract, and he has not lived up to that contract right now. So now the Bulls are definitely going to be more cautious when it comes to that. Because I ain't gonna lie, when the Bulls, fairly, I can just say, I think the last time we really tried this with like a big, like a star name was like the first Zach Lavine contract before he got the major one. But the Bulls usually just sign their players. So if they like you, they'll just get the contract done. But I believe seeing what happened with Patrick Williams, now the Bulls have to go through the restricted free agent process, and you might get your guy at a lower asking price, or you also could get a guy at a higher asking price of what he's asking for. And the Brooklyn Nets is the only team that's really in the way. It don't seem like the Brooklyn Nets out after him, but you never really know. And then also, teams always be prepared, and you guys be prepared to see a poison pill contract. A poison pill contract is pretty much they might load the first 2 years with majority of the money. And then the end of the years, the contract will be a very favorable, good contract. But sometimes teams do that so you can't match the offer sheet, or you would be hesitant to match the offer sheet because the first 2 years probably like say if the guy wants 30 million, the poison pill contract they might just make the first 2 years 35 to 37, and then the tail end it'll be like in the 20s, just to avoid teams because they don't want to have that salary cap hit up front. And the next thing is looking at what Josh Giddey is potentially asking for. Signing Josh Giddey to a long-term contract will be the fastest way to ensure the Chicago Bulls enjoy a successful postseason. Giddey is headed into restricted free agency, therefore the Bulls will retain some control. According to Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, Giddey is expected to push for a contract worth $150 million. Scotto noted Giddey could use the Jalen Suggs recent contract as a potential framework for his negotiations. Although it is worth nothing, Giddey is more impactful player than Suggs. So Giddey is looking like he wants around 150, probably 5 years, 150, which that sounds about right with the Giddey range. But if I'm the Chicago Bulls, I'm playing the business of basketball game. We're gonna let you test the market. There's not too many suitors out there. Obviously, if it was like 10 teams with money, then you probably wouldn't take that chance. Just get the contract, get him what he want. But I think we could probably meet in the middle of that, like the contract. Give Josh Giddey, say let's do like 25, 26, and then just add incentives in there. Shooting percentage, player win. We make the playoffs. We actually be outside the play-in. The team have a winning record. Put a couple $1 million incentives on there. So then he at least can still get the money that he wants. But it's just the contract will be favorable for the team. But we got the incentives in there so you can get the money that you want. So does this make you guys happy that Josh Giddey is likely to stay with the Chicago Bulls? Let me know. Comment down below. It's been Shaq Barnes here with another episode of Bulls Digest. And I will see you guys on the next stream. Peace.